Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's AEW Dynamite broadcast live on TBS from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. In the main event, Christian Cage pinned Jay White after Hangman Adam Page ran in and hit White with the buckshot lariat behind the referee's back.
Oh, wait a second. Look. Oh, wait. Blade Runner. But no. Hangman Page. The buckshot by Hangman. And look at Christian Cage covers. Picking up the pieces. 1, 2, 3.
New AEW World Champion Jon Moxley and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club made their presence felt, leading to a no-contest finish in the match between the Elite and the Conglomeration. The BCC attacked the Conglomeration as well as Top Flight and the Dark Order when they tried to make the save.
It doesn't look good right now.
Make no mistake about it, if you are involved in any way, shape, or form with All Elite Wrestling, you are under attack. If you didn't like what happened on Saturday night, if you don't like this, you need to understand. You need to understand. This is just the cost of doing business.
Shelton Benjamin made his in-ring AEW debut, defeating Lio Rush. In other results, TBS champion Mercedes Moné tapped out Queen Aminata, FTR beat Brian Keith and Big Bill, and MVP approached the Acclaimed with an offer to be their manager. And in ratings news, Monday Night Raw's viewership was down slightly this week, with 1.538 million tuning into USA Network, according to WrestleNomics, as opposed to last week's audience of 1.545 million. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a 0.43, down about 10% from last week's rating of 0.47. NXT this week lost more than a quarter of its television audience compared to last week's episode. Programming Insider reports that 639,000 viewers tuned into Tuesday's episode on the CW, down from last week's audience of 874,000. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a 0.18, also down 25% from last week's demo rating of 0.24. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.